First contact gone wrong. The distress signal pulsed through the void for 3 days before the UES Thunderbolt picked it up. Captain Maya Chen stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display as the translated message echoed through the command center. Under attack. Dominion vessels. No warning. Civilians. Please assist. The message repeated, broken by static and the unmistakable sound of weapons fire. Lieutenant Kaido Nakamura, her communications officer, looked up from his station. Signal origin confirmed, Captain. It's coming from the Lumerian research outpost in the Altair system. Chen nodded, her expression grave. The Lumerians were a peaceful species, known for their advanced biological sciences. They had made first contact with humanity just 3 years ago, and while not formal allies, relations had been cordial. "How many Dominion ships?" she asked, addressing her tactical officer. Commander Elena Rodriguez enlarged the sensor readings on the main display. 17 vessels, Captain. Primarily battlecruisers with fighter support. She hesitated. The Thunderbolt is alone in this sector. Nearest support is the Jakarta Battle Group, at least 4 days out. The math was simple and brutal. One experimental human warship against 17 vessels belonging to the Dominion, a coalition of 3 technologically advanced species who had been expanding their territory aggressively for the past decade. "Comms, open a channel to the Lumerian outpost," Chen ordered. After a moment of static, a weak voice responded. "This is Director Vex of Lumerian Outpost Altair. Please identify yourself." "Director Vex, this is Captain Maya Chen of the United Earth ship Thunderbolt. We received your distress call." A pause, then with audible relief. "Captain Chen, the Dominion fleet arrived without warning. They're demanding access to our biological research database. We've refused, but our defenses are failing. How many ships in your fleet?" Captain Chen's lips curved into a slight smile. "Just the one, Director. But I need you to relay a message to your people and to any Dominion vessels monitoring this channel." "Captain," the Lumerian's voice wavered. "With respect, you cannot engage 17 Dominion warships with a single vessel. Tell them to sit tight," Chen continued, ignoring the protest. "Human warship incoming." The bridge crew exchanged glances. They understood what was coming. The Thunderbolt was humanity's newest prototype. A vessel designed not just as a warship, but as a testbed for technologies most species would consider theoretical. "Engineering," Chen called through the ship-wide comm. "Status on the quantum drive." Chief Engineer Prisha Mehta's confident voice replied. "Primed and ready, Captain. Those Dominion ships won't know what hit them." "Tactical, arm the kinetic penetrators and prepare the swarm drones." "Navigation, plot an approach vector that gives us maximum surprise." As the Thunderbolt accelerated toward the Altair system, Chen addressed her crew. "I know what you're thinking. 17 against 1 isn't fair." She paused, a dangerous gleam in her eye. "But humanity doesn't do fair fights." In the Lumerian Outpost's command center, Director Vex stared at the tactical display with mounting despair. The Dominion ships had formed a blockade around the station, their weapons trained on the outpost's failing shields. The leader of the Dominion fleet, Commander Zrax, had given them 1 hour to surrender their research or face destruction. The Lumerians had chosen this remote location precisely because it was isolated, perfect for undisturbed research, but terribly vulnerable to attack. They hadn't accounted for the Dominion's interest in their work on regenerative medicine. "Director," one of the Lumerian technicians called out, "sensors detect a ship approaching at high velocity." "The human vessel?" Vex asked. "Yes, but it's accelerating beyond safe parameters. It appears to be charging directly toward the center of the Dominion formation." On the bridge of his flagship, Commander Zrax of the Dominion observed the approaching human ship with contempt. "A single vessel. These humans are more primitive than our intelligence suggested." His second-in-command seemed less certain. "Commander, our database indicates humans are known for unconventional tactics." "Conventional or not, No single ship can stand against our fleet. Zrax opened a channel. Human vessel, this is Commander Zrax of the Dominion Warfleet. You are outnumbered and outgunned. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded or be destroyed. Captain Chen's response was immediate, her voice calm and almost amused. Commander Zrax, this is Captain Chen of the UES Thunderbolt. I'll make this simple for you. Release the Lumerian outpost and withdraw from this system. Laughter erupted on the Dominion bridge. Or what, human? Or we'll be forced to demonstrate why attacking peaceful species under humanity's protection is a very bad idea. As the Thunderbolt continued its approach, it appeared to be committing to a suicidal charge. The Dominion vessels adjusted their positions, weapons locked on the lone human ship. Final warning, human, Zrax announced. Surrender now. Chen's voice was steel. That's not how this works, Commander. At that moment, the Thunderbolt activated its quantum drive. To the astonished observers on both the Lumerian outpost and the Dominion vessels, the human ship seemed to flicker and vanish, only to reappear inside the Dominion formation. The quantum drive didn't just move the ship through space, it temporarily phased it through different dimensional layers, allowing it to bypass physical obstacles entirely. It was technology beyond anything the Dominion had encountered. Before the alien fleet could react, the Thunderbolt unleashed its first salvo. Unlike the elegant energy weapons favored by most spacefaring species, humans had perfected the art of kinetic warfare. Tungsten rods accelerated to relativistic speeds punched through the nearest Dominion cruiser's shields as if they weren't there. The sheer physical force overwhelming defenses designed to disperse energy attacks. All hands, execute Maneuver Epsilon, Chen commanded as the Thunderbolt phased again, disappearing moments before retaliatory fire converged on its position. When it rematerialized, the human ship deployed its secondary system. Swarm drones. Unlike the autonomous combat units used by other species, human drones operated as a collective intelligence, adapting their tactics in real time. Hundreds of the small devices swarmed from the Thunderbolt's launch base, each carrying a payload designed to target engines, weapons, or sensor systems. Impossible, Zrax shouted as his tactical display became a chaos of alarms. 3 Dominion vessels were already crippled, their engines dark. The human ship was everywhere at once, phasing in and out of normal space, striking from impossible angles. On the Thunderbolt's bridge, Captain Chen remained focused. Status report. Shields at 82%, Captain, Rodriguez replied. Minor damage to port hull plating. 3 enemy vessels disabled, 2 heavily damaged. And the outpost. The Dominion ships nearest to the outpost are repositioning to defend against us, Captain. Their focus is off the Lumerians for now. Chen nodded. Good. Send a message to Director Vex. Tell them to reinforce their shields on the far side. We're going to create an opening for evacuation if necessary. As the battle continued, the Dominion fleet's disciplined formation dissolved into chaos. Their tactics, evolved over centuries of conventional space warfare, were useless against an enemy that refused to play by the established rules. The Thunderbolt phased into existence directly above Zrax's flagship, unleashing a barrage of kinetic penetrators that shattered its forward shields. This is your last chance, Commander. Chen's voice echoed through the Dominion command channel. Withdraw your forces now. On his heavily damaged bridge, Commander Zrax stared at the tactical display in disbelief. Half his fleet was disabled or crippled, and sensor readings from the human ship defied explanation. Their technology wasn't just advanced, it operated on principles his scientists couldn't begin to comprehend. With fury and disbelief warring in his voice, he opened a channel to the human vessel. This is not possible. You cannot defeat a Dominion warfleet with a single ship. Captain Chen's response was calm, almost sympathetic. That's where you're wrong, Commander. The UES Thunderbolt is humanity's answer to species like yours, those who mistake peace for weakness. Now, I'll say this one last time. Withdraw your forces, or we will be forced to demonstrate the full capabilities of this vessel. As if to emphasize her point, the Thunderbolt phased again, reappearing in formation with 4 of its SNORM clusters, which had reconfigured themselves into larger combat units. Commander Zrax looked around his damaged bridge, at the reports of failing systems and disabled ships. His second-in-command gave voice to what they were all thinking. "Commander, our intelligence on human military capabilities was severely underestimated." Zrax's mandibles clicked in agitation. After a moment of tense silence, he opened the channel again. "Human vessel." His voice had lost its earlier arrogance. "You have demonstrated your tactical advantage. However, the Dominion does not surrender. We demand terms." On the Thunderbolt's bridge, Captain Chen allowed herself a small smile. "I'm not interested in your surrender, Commander. I'm interested in your immediate withdrawal from this system and a guarantee that the Lumerian outpost will remain unmolested. Otherwise, we continue." The silence that followed was broken by the sound of additional systems failing aboard the Dominion flagship as SID-worm drones continued their precise attacks. Finally, Zrax's voice returned, stiff with suppressed rage. "We will withdraw. But know this, human. The Dominion will not forget this incident." "Good," Chen replied. "And while you're remembering, make sure to include this detail in your report. The Thunderbolt is just our prototype. The production models will be much more impressive." As the Dominion fleet began their withdrawal, limping away with damaged ships in tow, Director Vex contacted the Thunderbolt. "Captain Chen, we don't know how to thank you. Our defenses were minutes from failure." "No thanks necessary, Director. Humanity stands with peaceful species." "But how? How did one ship defeat an entire Dominion fleet?" Captain Chen's answer was simple. "Because humans don't build warships, Director. We build possibilities. And we're very, very good at making the impossible happen." The human advantage. As the damaged Dominion ships began their retreat, Commander Zrax's flagship remained in position, its weapons still trained on the Lumerian outpost. The rest of his fleet had withdrawn to the edge of the system, but Zrax himself seemed unwilling to accept defeat. "Captain," Lieutenant Nakamura reported, "the Dominion flagship is powering up its main cannon. They're targeting the outpost's central research facility." "One last spite move," Chen muttered. "Target their weapons array with kinetic penetrators. Prepare to phase." "Captain," Rodriguez interjected, "our quantum drive needs another 3 minutes to recharge after the last phase." Chen's mind raced through alternatives. Deploy remaining swarm units in defensive formation around the outpost. Engineering, I need options. Chief Engineer Meta's voice came through, tense but confident. "Captain, we can bring the adaptive shield array online. It's still experimental, but..." "Do it," Chen ordered. "Divert auxiliary power." On the view screen, they watched as the Dominion flagship's massive cannon began to glow with building energy. The Thunderbolt positioned itself between the hostile vessel and the Lumerian outpost, a seemingly futile gesture given the size difference between the ships. "Adaptive shields online," Meta reported. "Analyzing enemy weapon signature now." The Thunderbolt's newest defensive system was uniquely human in its approach. Rather than creating stronger static barriers like most species, human engineers had developed shields that could analyze incoming attacks and reconfigure their energy patterns in real time to maximize absorption and deflection. "Incoming," Rodriguez shouted as the Dominion flagship fired. The blast from the alien vessel's main cannon struck the Thunderbolt head-on, a beam of concentrated energy that would have vaporized most ships of similar size. Instead, the human vessel's shields flared brilliantly, shifting through colors as they adapted to the attack's energy signature. The bridge rocked, but held. "Shields at 47%, Rodriguez reported, sounding surprised they were still alive. "They're reconfiguring. Stabilizing at 53%. The adaptive algorithms are learning the weapon's pattern." "Return fire," Chen ordered. "All functional batteries." The Thunderbolt unleashed its own barrage, a combination of energy weapons and kinetic projectiles that hammered the already damaged Dominion flagship. Several struck home, causing secondary explosions along the larger vessel's hull. VIRA, tactical analysis, Chen called out. The ship's AI companion responded immediately, its holographic avatar appearing beside the captain's chair. VIRA, virtual intelligence for reconnaissance and assistance, was another uniquely human innovation, an AI system designed to work alongside the crew rather than replace them. The Dominion vessel's power distribution suggests they're diverting energy from engines to weapons, VIRA reported, its voice calm and precise. They've committed to a final attack. Their main cannon is recharging, estimated time to fire, 45 seconds. Can our shields withstand another hit? Chen asked. Affirmative, Captain. The adaptive system has now mapped 83% of their weapon's energy signature. Projected shield efficiency on next impact, 72%. Chen nodded. Director Vex, this is Captain Chen. What's the status of your evacuation? We need another 10 minutes to secure our most critical research and personnel, the Lumerian replied. You've got 5, Chen said firmly. We'll hold them off, but I can't promise how long. As the Dominion flagship prepared to fire again, VIRA's avatar flickered with sudden activity. Captain, I'm detecting unusual power fluctuations in the Dominion vessel's cannon. Their containment field is becoming unstable. Chen leaned forward. They're overloading their weapon. Correct. It appears they've bypassed safety protocols to increase yield. However, their power core wasn't designed for such output. They're getting desperate, Rodriguez observed. Or stupid, Chen replied. VIRA, options. The AI processed for a millisecond. Recommend targeting their primary power conduits with precision fire. A controlled disruption could force their systems to emergency shutdown before catastrophic failure. Do it, Chen ordered. Tactical, reconfigure kinetic penetrators for precision strike. Target coordinates from VIRA. As the Thunderbolt adjusted its attack, the Dominion flagship fired again. This time, the adaptive shields were ready, shimmering with complex patterns as they dispersed the incoming energy. The bridge shook, but less violently than before. Shield holding at 39%, Rodriguez reported. Returning fire now. The Thunderbolt's response was surgical, precisely aimed projectiles that struck the Dominion vessel's exposed power conduits. The effect was immediate. Cascading power failures rippled across the alien ship. Their cannon is powering down, Rodriguez announced. We've forced a systems reset. On the communications channel, Commander Zrax's voice came through, now lacking any pretense of control. What is this? What have you done to our systems? Saved your lives, actually, Chen replied calmly. Your weapon was about to experience a catastrophic overload. You're welcome. This is not over, human, Zrax snarled. It is for today, Chen countered. Your fleet is in retreat, your flagship is crippled, and the Lumerians are under our protection. I suggest you withdraw while you still have a functioning ship. After a tense moment, the Dominion flagship's engines flared to life. The massive vessel turned slowly, moving to join the rest of its retreating fleet. They're withdrawing, Captain, Rodriguez confirmed. All Dominion vessels are leaving the system. Chen allowed herself to relax slightly. Maintain alert status. VIRA, keep monitoring their movements. Of course, Captain, the AI responded. May I suggest we use this opportunity to assist the Lumerian evacuation? Agreed. Lieutenant Nakamura, coordinate with Director Vex. Let's get those scientists to safety. The next few hours were a flurry of activity as the Thunderbolt's crew helped evacuate critical personnel and research from the damaged outpost. The Lumerians worked efficiently, prioritizing their most valuable biological research and specimens. In the midst of the evacuation, Chen joined a team aboard the outpost to meet with Director Vex in person. The Lumerian scientist was tall and slender, with luminescent skin that pulsed with emotion, currently a mix of gratitude and concern. "Your intervention saved us," Captain Vex said, leading Chen through corridors where Lumerians and humans worked side by side to secure equipment. "But I fear we have made humanity a powerful enemy today." Chen shrugged. The Dominion was always going to be a problem. Better to establish boundaries early. Still, one ship against 17. Vex's skin pulsed with disbelief. "Our scientists have been analyzing your vessel's capabilities. The technology is remarkable. Humans have a talent for innovation," Chen replied, "especially when our backs are against the wall." As they reached the research core, Vex gestured to the biological samples being carefully packed. "This is why the Dominion came. Our research on cellular regeneration has applications that could extend lifespans across multiple species. They wanted to weaponize it. And now we would like to offer a formal research partnership with Earth," Vex said. "Your people protected ours at great risk. We would share our biological knowledge in exchange for—" The Lumerian hesitated. "Technical assistance," Chen suggested. "Yes," Vex admitted. "Your quantum drive, adaptive shields, drone swarms, they represent approaches our scientists never considered." Chen smiled. "I think Earth would be very interested in such an arrangement." Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent call from the Thunderbolt. "Captain," Vira's voice came through her communicator. "Sensors detect 3 Dominion vessels have changed course. They appear to be circling back toward the outpost. Time to arrival." 17 minutes, Captain." Chen turned to Vex. "We need to accelerate the evacuation. Take only what's irreplaceable." Back aboard the Thunderbolt, Chen found her crew preparing for another confrontation. "Status report. Quantum drive still needs time to fully recharge," Rodriguez reported. "Shields at 61% and climbing. Swarm units at 43% capacity. The Dominion ships, 2 cruisers, and what appears to be a specialized electronic warfare vessel," Vira answered, its avatar displaying tactical projections. "They likely intend to disable our systems rather than engage directly." Chen nodded. "They're adapting." "Vira, countermeasures. Our quantum communication system should resist conventional jamming," the AI responded. "However, I recommend preparing backup systems." "Do it." "Engineering, status on those shield repairs." Chief Engineer Meta's voice came through. "Working as fast as we can, Captain. The adaptive algorithms are still processing data from the last engagement." As the minutes ticked by, the evacuation continued with increased urgency. Most of the critical Lumerian personnel and research had been transferred to transport vessels, but the final groups were still making their way from the outpost's deepest levels. "Captain," Rodriguez called out suddenly, "the Dominion electronic warfare ship has activated some kind of disruption field. It's affecting our sensors and communications." Almost immediately, the ship's systems began to flicker. Vira's avatar stabilized after a moment of distortion. "They are using a broad-spectrum quantum interference pattern. Quite sophisticated." "Can we counter it?" Chen asked. "Not with our current configurations," Vira admitted. However, Chen prompted, "we could revert to what the Dominion would consider primitive technology," the AI suggested, "specifically hardwired communications and analog targeting systems." Chen smiled slowly. "They're expecting us to rely on our advanced tech. Go back to basics." "Precisely, Captain. Sometimes the old ways are the most reliable." Chen turned to her crew. "You heard VIR. Engineering, switch to hardwired communication backups. Tactical, prepare the analog targeting systems. Let's show the Dominion that humans mastered primitive warfare long before we reached the stars." As the Dominion vessels approach, they deploy their electronic warfare measures with increasing intensity. The Thunderbolt's quantum systems struggled under the assault, but the backup systems, technology that would have been familiar to naval vessels from centuries earlier, remained unaffected. The Dominion ships, confident in their electronic superiority, moved into attack formation, expecting the human vessel to be blind and disoriented. Instead, they found themselves facing a perfectly coordinated response as the Thunderbolt launched a barrage of kinetic weapons guided by targeting computers that had no connection to the ship's quantum network. Direct hits on both cruisers, Rodriguez reported, reading data from a physical display screen rather than a holographic interface. The electronic warfare vessel is adjusting its position. They didn't expect us to function under their disruption field, Chen observed. VIRA, can you analyze their field generator while they're focused on our primary systems? Already done, Captain. The AI responded, its voice coming through a speaker rather than its disabled holographic avatar. Their technology relies on predicting and disrupting quantum algorithms. It's quite effective against most advanced systems, but utterly useless against hardwired circuits. Chen laughed. Sometimes the best high-tech solution is low-tech. Target their field generator with another kinetic strike. The Thunderbolt fired again, the projectile arcing through space on a ballistic trajectory that required no guidance system to reach its target. The impact shattered the Dominion vessel's field generator, causing the disruption effect to collapse immediately. As the Thunderbolt's advanced systems came back online, the Dominion vessels found themselves facing the full technological might of the human warship once again. Their attempt to neutralize the human advantage had failed completely. "Open a channel," Chen ordered. When the communication was established, she addressed the Dominion commander calmly. "This is Captain Chen. Your electronic warfare tactics are impressive, but as you've seen, humans have contingencies for everything. I suggest you join the rest of your fleet in withdrawal." After a brief silence, the Dominion vessels turned and accelerated away from the outpost. "They're retreating, Captain," Rodriguez confirmed. "Good. Now let's finish this evacuation and get our new Lumerian friends to safety." Hours later, with the evacuation complete and the Lumerian transport vessels safely away, Captain Chen stood on the Thunderbolt's observation deck, looking out at the stars. Director Vex had joined her, the Lumerian's skin pulsing with a calm blue glow. "The Dominion will return, you know," Vex said quietly. "They do not forget defeats." "Neither do humans," Chen replied. "But next time, they won't be facing one ship." "Your tactics today were educational," Vex observed. "Most species develop technology in a linear fashion, discarding older methods as they advance. But humans, we keep everything that works." Chen finished with a smile. "New or old, elegant or crude, if it solves the problem, humans consider it valuable." "A practical approach," Vex acknowledged. "My scientists are already discussing possible collaborations with your engineers. The combination of Lumerian biological science and human technological innovation could benefit both our peoples." Chen turned to face the Lumerian director. "That's the thing the Dominion doesn't understand. They see the galaxy as something to conquer. We see it as something to explore, to learn from. Every new species we meet has something to teach us and something to learn from us. And if more hostile species emerge..." Chen's expression hardened slightly. "Then they'll learn what the Dominion learned today. Humanity doesn't start fights, but we finish them." As the Thunderbolt prepared to escort the Lumerian transports to Earth, Captain Chen received a message from United Earth Command. After reviewing the battle data, they had approved full production of the technologies tested on the Thunderbolt. More importantly, they had authorized the formation of a joint human-Lumerian research initiative. "It seems our little demonstration has accelerated interspecies cooperation," Chen told her bridge crew. "Sometimes the best diplomacy is a well-placed show of force." Lieutenant Nakamura smiled. "So when the Dominion tells others about the terrifying human warship they encountered, they'll be doing our negotiating for us." Chen finished with a satisfied nod. "Sometimes the best message is simple. Sit tight, human warship incoming." As the Thunderbolt and its Lumerian companions set course for Earth, the stars stretched into streaks of light around them. The encounter with the Dominion had been brief, but its repercussions would echo across the galaxy. Humanity had announced its presence in the most human way possible, doing the impossible, defying the odds, and extending a hand of friendship even as they demonstrated their formidable capabilities. It was a lesson the Dominion and others would soon learn. In a galaxy full of ancient civilizations and powerful empires, humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology, but their adaptability, their creativity, and their unwavering determination to protect those who couldn't protect themselves.